Yep. We are on, and it will take just a minute for it to come up on my page. And
Hello, everyone.
Take just a minute. Okay. And then I'm tagging you right now. And I'll go back and tag this properly later, but we'll tag you. And so you should now get a notification that you are being tagged.
Yes, I am. James Klein tag you in a post.
Look at that.
Add to profile. Here
we're figuring out the technology as we go. It's pretty
That's
amazing.
not my forte, technology.
See, if you say that, then that becomes your reality. I'm learning that. It's like we make declarations all the time. And if I say technology is not my forte, or I'm bad at technology, or like for me, I'm bad at spreadsheets, and then lo and behold,
so you will never hear me. You will never hear me say I am and follow it by a negative statement, because I am are the two most important sentences you will ever use in your life. And I learned that from Tanya Lee, and I think she is right, So, and even in the document with Steve Hardison, right? Who are we? So when you write your document, which is, the best version of you, how you want to be, you don't say, I am bad at. You will really just focus on those areas.
Focus on the essence of you that you want to create.
Yeah. Who you think you are in your core, like the truer version of you.
Yeah.
The best version of you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I just love that. It's like anything that comes after I am, you're creating your
positive. So for me, everything that come after I am is positive. It's who I am. You know what? I didn't know we were going to do it, but this morning, February 1st, I was writing the things that kind of define me. I wanted to just write a page full of I am statements. So I wrote, I am beautiful, I am positive, I am goal-oriented, I am loving and caring, I am kind and compassionate, I am passionate, I am tender and sensual, but everybody doesn't know that. I am ultra feminine and sexy. I am fun, I am smart, I am intelligent, I am interested, I am educated, I am open, I am curious. And then I was so I stopped there. So,
and you are all of those things and more.
I believe I am. So that's why I wrote them.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you are using adjectives to describe who you are.
There are adjectives. I didn't think it that way. It could be anything. I can say I am a woman who
so I'm a beautiful woman, as opposed
I am a woman who looks put together, or I am a woman who enjoy a cup of hot water, or I am a woman who likes to, a bouquet of fresh flower every week in her house, or things like that. That's all of the positive statements about me, because I don't want, it doesn't mean that there nothing negative that happens, but it's me refusing to become those things because I don't want to be those things.
Right. And so by saying this over and over, you're creating yourself to be.
And your belief, it becomes your belief, because what is a belief? A belief is just a thought that you thought over and over again, and then you end up believing it. So I don't want false and negative beliefs.
Yeah.
The day I understood the power of self-talk, the power of positive thinking, it changed my whole life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so amazing and we all have that power.
We do.
It's not just unique to Sabelle or James or whoever. This is something that everybody has that power, and everybody utilizes that power all the time, whether it's for the conscious or whether it's unconscious.
For the good or for the bad. Most people use it. People say all the time, oh, I am exhausted, oh, I am busy, or I am late, and it becomes their identity, right? I love saying I'm busy, busy, busy. And it was almost like people say, holding it as a badge of honor, and now I refuse to say that. I don't say
Right.
I'm busy. I don't say I'm overwhelmed, because I'm like, no, I don't want those things to define me. I can say I am, I am working on a project that is taking me a lot of time, a project that I love, right? Because
Yeah.
I am doing it because I love it. So it's
Yeah.
really how I
So
am
you're
saying.
reframing
Yeah.
who you are. Yeah. I notice a lot of people that I coach, they will come with things like I'm on the struggle bus,
Oh
or
yeah.
or
I've
or
never,
or or this is like a there are these sort of fancy descriptions. This is a goat rodeo,
oh,
or whatever it is. Or I'm the queen of dilly dallying. I like to dilly dally a lot, or I'm a master procrastinator, or something like
oh yeah,
that.
I've heard that. Yes.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I think one of the best, most important, um, I wouldn't say lesson, but something you can take away here is to make sure that the way you talk about yourself, the way you
Yes.
speak about yourself is positive. And there is
Right.
an amazing book. I don't know how to say the name of the guy. It's um, Stature or something, but it's how to talk how to speak when you talk about yourself or something like that. It's
I
about
think
self-talk.
there's a
It's the
book that I
power of
remember
self-talk.
seeing. Yeah.
So maybe we
What to
can,
say when you talk to yourself, something like
when you
that.
say yes, when you talk to yourself, and we can put it
Yeah.
in the messages for people to catch up. But it's a wonderful book because it really talks about how, he does all of the, what Brooke Castillo and, even actually there is a wonderful coach that my company hired 18 years ago. His name is Robin Poo. He's amazing.
Mhm.
And he was invited at our convention, and he shared on stage for about 30 minutes about coaching. And he's coaching us right now for 6 weeks.
Oh,
So it's an
nice.
amazing company who is
So
paying us.
with a group, or just taking you individually and coaching you?
No, like he's coaching all of the a group coaching, like email, but all of the
Oh, okay.
stylists, and we're
Yeah.
independent, but the company is still paying for that, which is
Mhm.
amazing. And it's really like he said, I, took it from sports medicine, and
Mhm.
he just talks about the thoughts that lead to action that talk to results,
Yeah.
that lead to results. I love it, but the way we use it is kind of more complete, I would say, because I haven't heard him yet talk about the feelings. And I know you also are a student of Brooke Castillo.
Yeah.
Her model is really your thoughts that creates your feeling, and it's
Feelings, and
your
then the
feelings that
action
lead you
comes
to
from
action.
what you
It's not just
feel.
the thought
Yeah.
that lead you to action, but it's your feeling that lead you to action. It's something you think, and then it makes you feel a certain way, and you take an action, or you
Yeah.
don't take an action based on that anyway. But yeah, during the convention, he talks about what we believe about ourselves and all of that, and it's super important. So
Yeah.
coming from the future is also something we have learned. I love Joe Dispenza. I have his book here, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and
Mhm.
all of his theory that Tanya Lee and all of the great coaches talk about is really coming from the future.
Right.
It's really being now the
The
person
person you want to
you
be
want to be.
in the future.
I was having a dinner with a friend on Thursday or Friday, and he asked me, where I was seeing myself in 3 years. He says, "What are your plans for in 3 years?" And I was like, you know what? I am more focused on what I'm building today, because
Today,
is
who I am today is going to inform who I am
no
in.
yes, that. But I said it's it's who I am being today that creates tomorrow.
Mhm.
It's me today plus me tomorrow plus me the day after tomorrow that will create tomorrow. So I kind of live, upside down. I am already living my life that
Already
I'm going to
living
be
from that
living
person.
3 years from
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And yes, I had big ideas, moving to my own house, like another house that I will buy, and my kids being amazing.
Mhm.
But for me, this happens today. It starts today. So I know that I used to, when I was leader, I remember an essay that they asked us to write about how is 2020 going to be? It was like maybe in the 80s, or I was born in 77. So let's say I was 10, around 87. And we were imagining enormous things, huge things, but we weren't really looking out at the present. We were just dreaming. And today, I believe that it's tomorrow. Tomorrow is made of today.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
I focus more on the present, on today.
Yeah, that's really good, because you never get to tomorrow never comes, as the song says.
Yes,
it's always right now.
It's all today's. Yeah, and there was my good friend Genevieve gave me a beautiful box with I could almost bring it with little quotes of the day. So it's 365 quotes. And so I love, when I come down in the morning to have my coffee when I wake up, I just grab one and then I read it. So my friend Genevieve is always with me every morning.
Oh, I love that.
And that was such a sweet attention. I love those things like that. So she knows me well. Anyway, and the thing that was saying, I think it was a poem. It was a poem from, I think he was even French, but I don't remember. But it was saying, basically you will toil until the night comes and you go to bed, right? Or you will be enjoying happiness during the day until the night comes and you go to bed. Or you will be like living such a burden day, and then you go to bed, right? Saying that everything happens within a day. It's just the present. Everything happening is the present.
And you can choose whether you want to toil through the day or whether you want to enjoy this day as like we say, present, as a gift to you, that you're alive right now.
It is. And you can apply it to anything, like you want to lose weight, okay? You don't say, when I lose weight, you start being the person who has lost the weight now. How does a person who, is an overweight eat? So you will start eating that way now. So you become that person right away, right? Everything happens in the present. There is no such thing as tomorrow. Because tomorrow is, and even the Bible says it, like all of the big references mention it.
Actually, speaking of which, I'm at 175 right now.
So is it your goal?
160.
Oh wow! Yeah, so you're continuing. So what are you doing so you're still doing intermittent fasting?
Intermittent fasting, and I'm not. Sometimes I'll make it till 4. Sometimes I'll just go till noon. But the thing that I have adopted every day is I don't put anything in my coffee except coffee.
Yeah.
So it's black coffee. Yeah. Yeah. So probably since I've known you, I'm down 10 pounds since then.
So I have a good.
I
am a good companion for weight loss.
That's right. That's right.
I'm happy. I'm proud of you. That's amazing. Yeah. And you do eat everything you want after breaking your fast, right?
I do, and I sometimes think, well, maybe I could change that up a little bit too. And
you're losing.
Yeah.
I think there is room for indulgence, right? I think you have to do something that is sustainable, because if you do drastic changes and you won't maintain them, then the weight is going to continue to come back.
Yeah.
So I think there is room for indulgence in a diet.
Yeah. So, but anyway, it's interesting to me to think about 175, so that's like a big, I haven't weighed that much since literally 30 years probably.
Wow.
And so it's like these two things can be true at the same time. So I'm kicking, I won't say, I'm kicking butt in that and I'm struggling in some other areas of my life. So you have this push and pull, these things, there's always going to be things that are challenges, and there's always things that are victories.
I was watching an interview that a friend sent me, Mark Hyman and Louis Hose. I like both of them, so I just watched it briefly, but then it was interrupted by commercial. Brooke Castillo, she was saying, we're happy, like happiness and joy is like 50-50.
exactly.
50% of
I
the
really
time you're
believe that,
happy
50-50.
and 50% of the time, you're miserable. So it's just it's the way it is, right?
Yeah. And
When
she
you're
talks about,
happy, you enjoy it, and when you're sad because something, you're like, well, it's gonna get over, I'm gonna be in the other side. And so
I like how she says that people sometimes will argue, and I've had conversations where I explain that and people will argue and say, well, no, I want it to be 80-20, right? I want the balance to be more on the positive side than the negative side. But her perspective on that is if it's unbalanced like that, you probably aren't setting your goals high enough.
Yes. And I think you're not setting your goals, but also you can, like, the reality is, 50% of the time things are okay, 50% of the time they're not, because you can only control yourself, and then you don't control your circumstances, you don't control other people, you don't control the environment, right?
Right.
But I think it can be 100 because you decide to see what's negative in a positive way.
Okay, yeah. If you want to put that spin on it, yeah, I totally agree. If you're experiencing a negative emotion or a negative cycle or something, you can be the loving observer of that just as well as you can be the loving observer of a positive experience.
Paul in the Bible, there is a book of Philippians that is it's a book that he wrote a letter when he was in jail in Rome in the most atrocious conditions, and I think there was a movie on it. I haven't seen the movie. The name of the movie was Paul, but in the book he mentions, they say, joy 16 times. So they even talk about that book as the book of joy, which is kind of an oxymoron, right? Because it's a book of joy written, but he talks about it. He says, he is joy, like whether for him to live or to die. To live is gain and to die is Christ, or the contrary. And the way he talks about it is, it's the mindset. It's him knowing that he knows Christ, and then he has already gained salvation, and then he will whatever he does in life is to benefit Christ and his mindset. So I would say that it's your mindset. Joy is not necessarily in your circumstances.
It's probably, you could argue it's never in your circumstances. It's always.
I wouldn't say never. Why would you say never?
Well, because you're always responding to it with your thoughts.
Yeah, but you can choose. If you choose joy, then if you choose that, it's a beautiful circumstance, like you live happily, your children are healthy, even if it doesn't last, right? But your children are healthy, your bank account is okay, you have, you eat well, you are 175, and things are great. So you choose that it's joyful. Or you can be, living in a difficult situation, going through separation like I do, and having to make a lot of changes and still be super happy, because it's a choice too. So so it depends. And I would say that I think the most important is, for me, how are my values going? I have some things that I value the most in life, and if those things are great, if I'm making sure that I still have beauty, I still have great relationships, in my life, and that I'm always learning, growing, because growth, inspiration, learning, education is super important to me. As long as I have my children around me, I have love, I'm connected to them, whether it's my children or my friends or myself. And then I have beauty around me, I have, my house that is tidy, I have my flowers, or, I wear a beautiful outfit.
Yeah.
And I
You,
have
you
a
do
great
that
book,
every day. You're smashing every day.
and I have a great book, then I'm
Yeah,
happy,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
So what is important to you? What are your values, for example? What are your values? Can you name 3 of your?
Me, lifelong learning is one of them.
So if you have a book,
So if I have a book, or if I have a musical instrument and some music, I'm playing. I'm
yeah,
continuously learning. So that's
yeah,
important to me. Uh, Ongoing attention to my physical health is really
yeah.
important to me. My relationship with my kiddo is really important to me.
Okay, so if
Yeah.
those
So
three,
yeah.
say those 4 things, your relationship to Corvo, you're learning, you're playing music, and your intermittent fasting, even if the other things are not great, I think you're happy.
So as long as I keep that perspective, I could live in a box.
But I mean, you don't, in French, we say, on vit pas que d'amour et d'eau fraîche, meaning you don't live only with water and love, you need other things.
Yeah.
But it is to say that those are the things that are the most important for you.
Yeah.
So if those things are okay, you can deal with the rest.
Yeah. That's right.
You're fueled enough to be able to deal with the rest.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's good. Actually, I wanted to share that I texted this to you, and let me see if I can find it again, because I want to share this with everybody who might be watching right now. This is from The Way of Mastery, which is a book I am journeying through this year. So, what value have you ever placed upon the world that has restored to you the peace you seek? You've mistakenly thought, oh, this automobile will do it. And I've thought that. I've thought that when I've the times when I've got a new car, I thought, whoa, wow, look at that. Look at how that changed. Or this new career will do it, right? Oh, I'm going to change careers. This new career is going to do it. Or if only I could take a trip to the far corners of the world. And we talked about that a little bit yesterday. Then if only these things happen, if only I have a new car, if I have a new career, if only I could take a trip around the world to the far corners of the world, then I would be at peace. And so you realize that peace never quite comes because you've made your peace contingent on whether you experience something, or whether you acquire something, or whether you change the direction in your life, rather than just being at peace with who you are right now. And one of the things that I've been doing that is encouraged in the book is, and I'll say Christ, because it's concerned with Christ, but you could apply this as far as whatever your idea of a universal intelligence is. But what Jeshua ben Joseph mentions is, go ahead and just sit 5 minutes and feel the love of Christ within you, and know that you are that. Mm-hmm. And you can do that anywhere at any time, and you don't need a new automobile, you don't need a trip around the world, you don't need a new career, you don't need whatever it is that you think is missing. You don't need that, because you can experience the universal, the love of the universe, or of Christ within you now.
Within you, and that most people don't experience it,
Yeah.
and just to add on what you said about the fact that the peace never come.
Yeah.
I would say that the peace comes, but it's fleeting. It doesn't stay.
But fleeting.
It's fleeting. It comes like you look forward, like I don't know, you buy a new pair of shoes. Yeah. And you wait for the pair of shoes to be here, and the minute you start wearing it, you're always looking for your next pair of shoes, right?
Right.
So I have something fun that I wanted to say, because you mentioned a car. I am not into cars, so we drive the car.
You had the Honda Odyssey, right?
We have an Odyssey and a RAV4, and the RAV4 is old. It's what? It's maybe 2015. No, 2015. Yeah, maybe it's 7 years old, maybe, or a little more. And my son, Isaiah, is very into cars. So every day he comes home, he's like, Mom, this is a car you need to buy. And it's like, Isaiah, no, our cars, we're very proud that, we don't have debts on cars. They're paid off, but they're not new. They're old. And that was my message. And then one of them is in the garage right now. So we had a loan of the new RAV4.
Okay, so
it's awful. I've been driving it since yesterday, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I need the new RAV4.
Right.
It's amazing.
That's so funny.
It's beautiful, and it's I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that it was there is such a difference between the old version and the new version. And because I've tried the new version,
now it's hard to go. Now it's hard to think of the prospect of going back to that old 2015.
And so yesterday, when he came home from his hockey game, I told him, hey, Isaiah, guess what? I love the new RAV4. I think I want the new RAV4. And he was like, see, Mom. Okay. He's like, okay, but there is a new BMW. And I was like, okay, so stop there. We're going to stay with the old RAV4.
Right.
Anyway, so here is my son. He was like, let's buy a new car. And then I'm like, okay, let's, maybe the new RAV4. And then he's like, okay, now the BMW. So it's just what you're saying. You're never content. There is
right. Yeah, I remember the first time when I was in my 20s, I bought it was a year old, but it was new to me, and I felt that sense of accomplishment for a couple of days. But like you said, it was fleeting. But for a while, it's like I was, look at me. I was able to all by myself figure out how to buy a newish car, and then after a couple of days, it's like, well, there's my car.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's just funny. It depends on the value we put on things, but it's true that the real contentment and joy and love is found within.
Yes,
and we know that also with Michael A. Singer, in his books, Living Untethered, that talks about it that much. What you're looking is inside you. He said, how come that we want to use things from the outside to feel good inside? But if you want to feel good inside, you have to turn within. You have to turn in the inside, and there you'll find peace inside.
Yeah, in the way of mastery, that's a theme that page after page is like what you're looking for is not out here somewhere. What you're looking for is inside, and you think that what you have out here is going to make you feel that way when it's not.
It's not. And is it like a devotional, The Way of Mastery? I haven't read it yet. Is it like?
It's really actually pretty entertaining. The language is fairly straightforward and simple, I would say, and geared towards maybe a modern audience or an audience from the 1970s or 80s or whenever it was written. And so there's some entertaining things in there. And I would just recommend you dive into it. And
I probably will. But is it like a devotional, or it's just a book that with chapters?
It's just a book with chapters. And it's speaking as though whatever divine presence is speaking, or as a divine presence. So it's written in that first person. The way I read it is actually, I just like with Ultimate Coach, I'll read it about me. So what I'll try to do is when he says, I do this and you do that, I flip them around. So I say, well, he's saying this and this is affecting me. So we could do a master class in The Way of Mastery sometime if it's fairly long. There are actually 3 volumes, and I'm almost through the first one now.
You know what I'm thinking? I think next week we should talk about the ultimate experience in India. I think we should do an episode on that next week.
Okay.
Because it's super important, and I haven't talked about it yet. I haven't shared anything about it, but I believe that it's important that we let the people know that they are following us about that experience that is coming in. So maybe next week we can talk about that. talk about Steve Hardison, his who he is, his importance in our life as the ultimate coach, and what's coming up next. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm open to that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's time. Look at that. We talked. I didn't even get to what I thought we were going to talk about. So that's just par for the course in our discussion. So anyway, thank you all for whoever joined us or will join us. I appreciate you. Appreciate you all so much eavesdropping on our conversations, and we will see you next time.
Week. Bye-bye.